Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Gerbil Vine. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gerbil Vine. So for today's video, I thought we could begin by discussing different types of beddings for gerbils and which ones are safe and unsafe for them to use. Now there are many different types of bedding out there, and unfortunately not all of them are safe for gerbils to use, even though they may be advertised as safe in the pet stores or online or wherever you may buy your bedding from. Now, gerbils have very sensitive upper respiratory systems, and they're unfortunately easily agitated, and this can cause them to experience issues similar to asthma, with symptoms like a red or runny nose, scratchy or itchy eyes, and difficulty breathing. Heavily scented or overly dusty beddings are unsafe for gerbils to use. I myself have tried everything from KT Clean and Cozy to Carefresh to Living World to Great Choice, or All Living Things, I guess. So I've been around the block quite a bit when it comes to gerbil bedding, because if you don't trial and error, you never really learn what works best for your gerbils. Now, gerbils are a burrowing species of animal, which means that they prefer to spend majority of their time and to sleep underground. They really need a lot of bedding in order for them to feel safe. So it's likely some days that you may not even see your gerbils because they're just so busy having fun and doing all of their activities down below and out of sight. Now, gerbils spend a lot of time in their burrows, so having the correct amount of bedding in there is very, very important for the overall health and enjoyment of your gerbils. Now, gerbils, in my opinion, need a minimum of 8 inches of bedding. They are a burrowing species, which means that they like to have a lot of bedding in order for them to be able to do all of their activities and to feel safe. So when I do a tank clean, I put anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of bedding in there. But I make sure to keep that 10 as a minimum. I just find that it works really, really well for my boys. They just love to dig and kick, and they get so much joy out of having a ton of bedding in their enclosure. So the types of bedding that I use is generally a mixture of Aspen, KT Clean and Cozy, and Oxbow Timothy Hay. I don't recommend using any of these beddings alone by themselves because they won't be able to hold up the burrows as well if you use them in a combination with each other. So together they work wonderfully. Now let's get started discussing safe gerbil bedding. So let's begin with wood shavings. Now, aspen is the only safe type of wood bedding to use for your gerbils. So I personally use the All Living Things brand of aspen wood shavings that is carried only by PetSmart. It is a proprietary brand to PetSmart, the All Living Things line, but I have seen aspen wood shavings for sale at many other local pet stores, and you may even be able to find some online on sites like Amazon. So I went on Amazon recently and just to look, and only 1 or 2 aspen listings popped up. The rest of them were pine. So just make sure that you are in fact purchasing aspen wood shavings. So the bag that I get from PetSmart looks like this. This is a smaller bag of aspen shavings. Usually I would buy a larger bag, however I still have some left over from my previous tank clean, so I only needed the smaller bag this time. But this is what it looks like, and aspen is the only safe type of wood bedding to use for your gerbils. So moving on to paper bedding. Ooh, little bit of aspen crumbs. So moving on to paper bedding. Now I like to use a combination of paper bedding. So I generally stick to the KT Clean and Cozy line of paper bedding. I have tried Carefresh and many other beddings, but I just didn't find them to work that well, to hold up the tunnels that well, and I didn't find them to be as soft. Now KT Clean and Cozy is really, really light and soft and fluffy, and I have tried Carefresh, the other major competitor, I guess you could say, in the past, and I found it to be a little more rough and hard. So I prefer to have more of a softer nesting material for my gerbils, which is why I use the KT Clean and Cozy bedding. So I have a couple of different types of bedding to show you guys today. They all look different and they are all safe for your gerbils. So the first type of paper bedding that I use and recommend highly for using with your gerbils would be the classic white clean and cozy. It looks like this. And this is a large bag. This is the 49.2 liter bag. So when I do a tank clean, I usually put this entire bag in, and then I add some more paper bedding, some hay, and a whole bag of aspen on top of this. But it does last a long time, and it works really, really well, and my gerbils seem to be really happy with this bedding. So the next type of bedding from the KT Clean and Cozy line that I use and recommend is this is an even larger bag. This is a 72 liter bag. Now this one is generally cheaper than the classic white Clean and Cozy, and you get more of it. I don't find it to be as soft as the white one, however. This one, it is more natural, and it almost feels like those shredded paper towels that you get in like restaurants or bathrooms of stores and stuff like that. So I do find it to be like that rough shredded material. However, it does work really well and basically the same for holding up the bedding. And if you're looking to save a couple bucks and get more for your money, then definitely don't worry about the white color and go for the natural. So the last type of bedding that we have from the KT Clean and Cozy line is this one. And this is just your basic blue colored bedding. But when you are buying colored bedding, you do want to make sure that it is not scented. Because KT does carry a line of scented bedding, as well as all living things, and that's totally not safe for your gerbils at all and can lead to upper respiratory issues, which gerbils are prone to, unfortunately. So if you do get colored bedding, just make sure that it is safe and it is unscented. The last type of material that I put into the gerbils tank when I do a tank clean is Oxbow Western Timothy hay. And it comes in a big, crumply, crunchy, large bag like this. Now, Timothy hay is wonderful for gerbils for a lot of reasons. They don't actually eat it, so gerbils can't really process a lot of high fibrous foods, so hay is not a great staple in their diet if you were going to feed it from a nutritional standpoint. They can't process a lot of fibrous foods, so unfortunately it would just go right through them and they wouldn't be able to retain any of the nutrients or the good stuff. So in my experience, they like to nibble it. So it works for enrichment, and it also helps them to file down their teeth. Like many rodents, gerbils have teeth that never stop growing. So they constantly need to chew on things in order to file down their teeth. It also works really, really well for holding up the burrows and helping to stabilize their structures. So there are also many unsafe types of bedding out there for gerbils. Now this includes any type of scented bedding. Usually it's like a lavender or a coconut sort of infused essence type of product. So anything like that, or anything with added oils or like a scent guard, anything like that would be an unsafe products for your gerbil to use. And then we have pine and cedar. So pine and cedar bedding are extremely toxic for gerbils. They shouldn't even ingest it. I know some gerbil owners that don't even put anything pine in their enclosure just for the risk of them ingesting little bits of pine. Although I do know that majority of the issues associated with gerbils and pine comes from the dust from the bedding. So the dust from it is really, really bad for them. And it causes respiratory issues, which I mentioned before. And it just, in my opinion, isn't worth putting it in your tank if there is a risk that it can damage your animal or cause a problem with their health. So just to clarify again, aspen is the only safe type of wood bedding that you should be putting in your enclosure for your gerbils. So I hope that with today's video I was able to educate you guys a bit more on which types of bedding are safe for gerbils as well as which ones are unsafe for them to use. Just to reiterate, gerbils need a minimum of 8 inches of bedding to make proper burrows, and more is always appreciated. I mean, they just love it so much, and they get so much enjoyment out of it when they can just run and dig and kick around the bedding, so more is always better when it comes to your gerbils. Since they are in captivity, we will never be able to fully mimic the environment that they have in the wild. So in the wild, gerbils live multiple feet underground, and they have very, very far down actually, and they have multiple chambers and tunnels connecting all of their different entrances and accesses, and we will never be able to make a perfect replica of this while they are in our care. So the best we can do is try to give them a bunch of bedding to make them feel happy, safe, and secure while we do have them in our lives. So again, always use aspen shavings and never ever use pine or cedar. Avoid any type of scented bedding. Unscented paper bedding is the only type of bedding that is safe for your gerbils to use. So thanks for watching, and burrow down below and let me know what you guys thought of today's video. Thank you. Bye.